Parents, um, we spend our lives, subhanAllah, working hard for the comfort of our children. We work extremely hard. We study hard, we plan, we prepare, and yet still, at times as parents, we might feel, how come our children are so ungrateful? Now, obviously, youth brings its own challenges. It brings its own desires and wants, and obviously, now with the glamour of the dunya, people going into shopping stores, just grabbing expensive things and posing. And now our children are thinking, oh my goodness, this person has so and so thing. Even if Allah has given someone so and so dunya, we as youngsters, in our minds is what's running in our mind. How can I have this expensive vehicle? How can I have this fancy clothing? How can I have this fancy gadget? And then we demand these from our parents. What I want to highlight is the Prophet ﷺ, mine and your Prophet of Allah, who was created the best of mankind. Mine and your Prophet was created the best of mankind. Allah offered to him, if you want, I can have mountains of gold follow you around and you can use them to spend. If you want, I can make the valley of Mecca, the entire valley, gold for you. No problem. And the Prophet ﷺ did not choose that particular lifestyle. He chose to be on the other side of the less fortunate. And subhanAllah, look at the, like I said, we talked about this last week too, the emotional intelligence of the Prophet ﷺ. Why did he eat on the floor? Look in the Shama'il of Imam al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah. You will find where he's writing the Prophet ﷺ's eating habits. The Prophet ﷺ, ma akala ala sukurrujatin. He never ate on an elevated platform. Because the custom of the time was, the slaves, they ate on the ground, and the people who had some forts, who were not the slaves, the leaders, they ate on elevated platforms. Nowadays, different, mashallah, everybody eats on tables or whatever. But the Prophet ﷺ chose to eat on the floor so he can, that social intelligence, the emotional intelligence, I'd rather be among the less fortunate. I want to side with them. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, you can read many a hadith where in his house, his wives narrate that months would pass and a fire was not kindled. Imagine, in mine and your home, months pass and the stove is not lit. It's something that is unimaginable. It's something that we cannot even comprehend. Is this something that can ever happen? No. So the Prophet ﷺ is spending months on end without kindling the fire. Try this one day in our home. Just eat salad maybe. Don't cook anything. Eat a fresh salad. Probably better for our health anyway. But we cannot do it. We need that fire. We need the stove. We need the gas. You need the electricity. You need the hydro. You need it running. So the people, they asked the Prophet ﷺ, the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, what would you do? How did you survive? They said, we survived on dates and water. That's what we had. That was part of what was available in the valley. So we survived on dates and water. So the message for us youngsters is that our parents work extremely hard. Don't make unrealistic demands of them. Recognize what your parents' situation and condition is. Wallahi, they could be going through, with whatever they're facilitating and working hard towards already could be the biggest burden, and yet they don't show it on their face. So be realistic. Don't nag. Ask once. Ask twice. Don't ask the third time. It's forbidden. You're not supposed to ask the third time. They just don't want to say no out of love for us. So be grateful for what Allah has given us. You can ask, but don't ask. You think they forgot? Their memory has gotten that backward, they forgot. You asked for something and they forgot, then you ask it again. They didn't forget. Maybe it's just hard. Times are hard. It's not easy. So be respectful and mindful of that. Because one day you'll be on that flip side. And the challenges will change. Your children will demand more of you than you demanded from your elders. How are you going to fulfill? So we need to live that. كَمَا تَدِينُ تُدَانُ. The way we live is the way we deal with we're dealt. Right? So let's be grateful for the life Allah has blessed us with. By Allah, we are less than 1% of the world, the way me and you live. Less than 1% of the world. And I'm going to end with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, من أصبح منكم آمنا في سربه معافا في جسده عنده قوت يومه فكأنما حيزت له الدنيا. Someone who wakes up in the morning and they're healthy. They're healthy. معافا في جسده عنده قوت يومه. They have 1 day of food. They have how much days of food? 1 day of food. And they're safe. Nobody's trying to kill you. You've got the dream. You live in the dream. And imagine all of us, we have this every day in and day out. Still unrealistic things from, we see something on the phone and we say, oh no, this is the newest gadget. I need this one. And then you pressure your parents, no, I need this one. Well, we just got you one. Well, it's outdated. The technology has advanced. So be respectful of your parents. Be respectful of your elders. Nobody's saying don't ask. Ask. But don't nag. Don't ask twice or thrice or 4 or 5 times. And be grateful. Recognize your parents are not obliged to do what all the extra things our parents do. They're not obliged to do that. What is a parent obliged to do? To provide for you? Are they obliged to buy you the latest smartphone? No. They're doing this out of love for you if they are. They're obliged to buy you the newest clothes every year. They're not obliged to do that. They're doing it out of love. When they do it, what should you do? Acknowledge that. This is very important too. In our cultures, we don't acknowledge it. We think, nah, that's their job. My father, he better keep working. Give me the latest brands. My mother, she better keep working. No, they're doing you a favor. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when someone do you a favor, مَنْ صُنِعَ عَلَيْهِ مَعْرُوفًا فَقَالَ لِفَاعِلِهِ جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. Even if it's your elder, tell your father, جَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ. May Allah bless you. And in my house, when we're even sitting for food, if I cook something, or if my wife cooks something, we remind the children, say Jazakumullah to your mother, she cooked your food. Say Jazakumullah to your father, he cooked your food. This is not an easy thing to do, to stand in front of the stove for hours and hours, or to wash the dishes time and time again, over and over again, and you do absolutely nothing in your home. Parents, continue. They can give up too, like us at our age, we give youth, the young people like to give up. No, you do everything. So be grateful, Allah will increase us in barakah. And remember these few rules. No nagging, being grateful. Try not to ask more than, if it's 2 times, don't ask the 3rd time. They're not forgotten. They know. It's in the back of their mind. Make dua to Allah. If we need something, ask Allah. Why? It's not hard for Allah. Sit, make dua, offer 2 rak'ah. You really need something? Make 2 rak'ah. Ask Allah, oh Allah, I need this. Help me. Allah will make the way for you, however it is. Jazakumullah. Subhanallah. So we have food for the youth, inshallah, in the classroom on the right side. The pizza is going to become cold.